Hello and welcome in, all you O9ers, PCHers, junior private detectives, Neptune pirates, fighting Fitzpatricks, and happy graduation. And welcome into Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about the season 2 finale, Not Pictured.
Ooh. I don't know. It sounds ominous.
It is ominous. It's 100% ominous because Beaver wasn't pictured in the original photo she had.
You just laid it all out for me and didn't let me put the puzzle together. I like it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
No, I would have never. I mean, I might have, but it would have taken a while to get there.
I see. Yes, because it was sliced off at the edge of that photo in the hall. So I will pose this question to you. What did you think of it?
Of this episode?
Yes.
As a season finale.
Okay.
Of a season that started with a bus crash.
Uh-huh.
A bus submersion, if you will. A bus bomb that flies off the cliff.
Uh-huh.
And the will they, won't they Meg thing. I will say that there are aspects of it that I absolutely fucking hate.
Yes.
There are aspects of it, and specifically like the why behind why Beaver is the way he is, and how he hurts people, and like the past, and like that they had to tie in that whole chlamydia thing. I don't really like that. I do like that it destigmatizes STDs, though. We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that it repairs the Veronica Logan relationship. I don't like how it does it.
No.
Couldn't they have just like had a conversation?
Yeah. They could have. So I am in 100% complete agreement with you. There are things I absolutely fucking hate about it. There are certain things. I think the graduation dream is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like this other life she had kind of thing, and Lily's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just too much going on, and the reveals that happen. I think it was very evident in us taking notes and having to pause and being like, okay, wait, Beaver's laying out his Bond scheme right now. Okay.
My pen died halfway through the episode.
Because Beaver is literally attached to everything that happened in this season, which is all kinds of hoops to jump through. And the sexual abuse that is rampant in this episode as like flavor is pretty gross.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind having a frustrated white guy being a bad guy because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But having this whole extra angle that we don't really spend time on, that like he was molested as a kid and now molests other people and kills them to silence them, is bananas.
Well, he rapes other people, but he killed the other people that were molested to silence them.
Yes.
He doesn't kill the people he hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
He tries to kill Veronica Bina.
That's a whole thing of shutting her up kind of thing. Yeah, I meant to do like a separate thought there.
Got it.
Yeah, I really didn't like it. So when I was talking to you this morning, and I was like, so I'm going to have a lot to say because I'm like going crazy. This is like one of people's favorite episodes. So I was doing my research. I was doing my due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking up. I was just like, okay, let's look at the Wikipedia, see the reception. It's kind of fun to look at those. And it's like, okay, got a lot of good reviews. Like a lot of people really liked it. But God knows when this like IGN review is from, so I'm going to do some Googling. And I got into the rabbit hole of looking up like Veronica top lists, and this was like at the top of like the majority of the lists. And it's just like, oh my God, I can't.
It should have been a 2-parter.
Yeah.
This too much happens.
Mm-hmm.
I am constantly, when we binge watch this show, that was like an emotional undertaking that I didn't realize I was doing. You know what I mean? Like until after it was over, and I was like, I feel like I have so much more like emotional space in my life. And it's like, oh, because this show is like a literal hour consistently of just like fucking nightmares and miscommunications and all of that tragedy. But yeah, I'm not with that group.
No, I wasn't either. And I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, I can't see how this is. I mean, so apologies for the people that do really like it and have heard us trash talk it. And
Please send us your why, though. We'd love to. We're willing to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, totally. MarsRewatch@gmail.com or on Twitter would be the best avenue for that. Yeah, I don't get it. It was not. Yeah, I did not like it. And I was looking at the timeline of like these articles too, and it was like all really recent. So it's like I don't get it.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know much about the. Yeah, they were all between like the past like couple years. Yeah.
We're better than this now. Do I think that maybe
Well,
when people
I mean-
watched this in 2005,
6.
they were like, "Oh, that's a pretty good episode," because like, you know, it gave depth. Like we had a lesser cultural understanding of how to talk about sexual assault and how to talk about rape and how to destigmatize STDs and all of that. So like I completely get being like, wow, that's a pretty forward like plot line in some parts of it. But also it's just fucking nightmarish.
Yeah. So it's but it's not like it. I don't like that it's used as just like flavor to like a lot of it. There's no like impact to most of it. It's just like it happens and people get like damaged. And especially I hate that like with Mac, like we don't really like we know something bad happened to Mac and then we never go back to her at the end of the episode.
Well, we do go back to her at the end.
Well, I meant like afterwards, like after everything. Like there's no like catching up with Mac like after like how's she doing, like, you know, it's just like her huddled, like her last scene is her huddled and
Like being like, what the fuck?
yeah, and then it's just like gone. Yeah, and there's just too much going on. Yeah, but all these articles were from like 2020, 2019, 2018. So I don't know. People still like it. I don't get it. I think it's I think that those articles are wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Did not enjoy. But I guess we could take it from the top.
Yeah. Well, it starts with a swing. It starts with Aaron Eccles walking free. And Veronica and her dad go to watch him walk free.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No, we stay home. We can, if we really wanted to, we could put it up on the news.
Yeah, distance. We need distance. Physical, emotional.
Yeah. Don't put yourselves through the ringer.
It's weird. And then they go back to the office and Keith is like, no wallowing, Veronica. Stop reading the newspaper about this case. There's nothing we can do. And Veronica then catches her father reading the newspaper about the case. And then we get a fax and we find out that Meg's dad is offering $20,000 for the capture of Woody Goodman because the information that came out about Lucky, because they really loved Lucky.
Yes. And I wouldn't think that it would be too far of a leap since they're, you know, evangelical, or I forget what their background is, that they're like, oh, they might have known maybe about like
what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just known that Woody in some way hurt him.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Keith's gonna go on a Wild Woody chase in a bit.
Yeah, it's hard to remember like that this stuff happens. Like there's just so much that happens in these episodes.
Wallace is sad because Jackie left for Paris.
I put table for one.
And Veronica comps him some cake and he's not eating it.
Yeah.
And that's how you know Wallace is sad. I've never put cake in front of a boy and them not eating it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy refuse cake. I've never refused cake that I wasn't allergic to.
Yeah. I might have refused cake when I was younger if I was like, I don't like that flavor because I was a picky eater, but
I just don't understand.
Especially if like the person knew that I like cake. It's like, here's a cake you like. And I'm like, yeah, let me take that.
Yeah. What was your cake as a kid?
Probably the vanilla cake. Yeah.
What kind of frosting, Brenton?
Probably like vanilla frosting.
My vanilla mate.
Just like a white cake. Yeah.
Vanilla bean.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
What was your cake?
I really liked red velvet with a cream cheese frosting, or marble cake with one of like the really nice, like big, like the grocery store frosting that gets like a little hard.
Oh yeah. I
And when that gets a little hard in the fridge, and then you eat it later, and you put ice cream on top of it, and then you got like crunchy frosting and cake and ice cream in a bowl with marble cake.
that is pretty damn good.
Why don't we ever make marble cake?
I don't know.
Will you make me a marble cake?
Sure, I'll learn how.
I don't think I can eat regular marble cakes because of the whole peanut allergy thing.
Right. Okay, I'll look into it.
Will you make me the frosting that then goes crunchy? I think we'll have to buy some preservatives.
I was like, sure. I can definitely make you frosting.
I think it's just
crunchy.
buttercream frosting. And
Yeah, probably. And you just give it a day or so, and it
gets hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I could just eat it fresh.
It's up to you. I mean, if you want to let it sit for a day.
Man.
It'll be hard to let it sit for a day, I think.
Grocery store birthday cake.
Yeah, it was cool. You look through the freaking
Booklet?
Yeah, booklet. I don't think I ever really got one, but those are always cool. Yeah.
I usually picked like colors off of that, and then I custom designed my cake with the people at the grocery store.
Very good.
Name a more me thing, I'll wait. Well, I like this purple, but I was thinking of having like a 60s theme. So like I want to, like how like SpongeBob kind of looks like the background on SpongeBob. That's what I want my cake to look like.
Wow.
And I'd be like, yeah, like the little,
the
little shapes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. I didn't have any of that. I still don't have that taste for design.
I think I was better at it as a child.
Mm.
I watched a lot of HGTV. But anyway, okay, so Wallace isn't eating his cake, and he's like, Jackie left a note, but she said she had to leave because saying goodbye to me would be too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, the rest of it's private. It's all lovey-dovey stuff. And Veronica's like, sorry, man. Sucks. Here, eat cake. And then she's like, hey, you know what I'm going to do while I'm at work? I'm going to multitask. I'm working like 2 or 3 jobs at the same time because I'm Veronica
totally.
Mars. So she's like, I'm going to tell any guy who was on Woody's Little League baseball team that he coached, like from that photo I have, to come in. I'll give him free gelato if they answer some questions.
Well, yeah, this is all background. She bamboozled the guy, and we learned about it when he comes in.
Yes. And she's like, hey, were you on Woody's baseball team? And he's like, can I have my gelato to go?
Mm-hmm.
And so we learned that, maybe we're missing some people off the team. Isn't that how we learned that?
Well, yeah, so she's just trying to track down as people as possible, and she doesn't figure out anybody that was like in touch with Marcos and Peter.
Mm-hmm. Then we get a call from Vinny Van Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
Back at Mars Investigations. Or does he just show up?
No, so she gets a call. She gets a call in from Vinny Van Lowe, and then the next scene is them down at the jailhouse.
Mm.
But
that's what it was. It's them visiting him in jail.
Yeah, because you don't know that he's in jail. They do it. That's actually a pretty good part of this episode too. Is where you just get a close up of Vinny Van Lowe, and then the camera angle changes, and it's him behind bars. But he's going to team up with Keith to take on the 20K bounty for Woody Goodman. And he had already broke into Woody's house to figure out where Woody is gone.
Yes. Woody, we learned through this research, had a pilot's license.
10 separate credit cards.
Chlamydia.
Yes, I forgot that was the real.
Yeah, that's how she puts it all together.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Which is a very strange route. I would not recommend using chlamydia as a way to contact trace.
Oh, God, No.
Because you just don't know.
You really don't.
Heart arrhythmia, and a plethora of other things.
Mm-hmm.
The heart arrhythmia means that he needs medication, which means that in some way, someone must be contacting him.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because he needs to get that meds.
Excuse me, I had a burp.
No problem.
So then Veronica has a dream
Mm-hmm.
of graduation. She's going to go to SDSU next year. She's waking up on graduation morning to the smell of bacon, and there's her dad and her mom in the kitchen. And they are...
Yeah, they live in a bigger home, it looks like.
It's their old house. We've seen it before.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
It's the house that they lived in when they were all together.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making jokes about her graduating and being in love with each other and, gross parent things. And she's eating pancakes and life is joyful. And they're like, aren't
Keith's
you?
sheriff.
Keith is still sheriff. And they're like, aren't you going to tell us to get a room because we're all lovey-dovey? And she's like, no, I think it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And mom's like, don't run off with that boy after graduation. We want to get pictures of you. We assume that means Duncan.
Yeah. But then, there's some weird dream logic going on because when she goes to school and is hanging out with all the boys, all the 09ers, she kisses Logan. And that's insinuated their date. And she got her cap and gown mixed up with a boy named Wallace Fennell that she doesn't know. And Wallace wears glasses in her dreams. And he comes over, she finds him wearing glasses, and is able to switch back cap and gown. And she's like, oh, yeah, high school was really cool. And he's like, oh, you're one of those people.
Then she sees Lily over by the lily fountain that was added as a memorial to her. And she's talking to Lily. And so Lily must have been a year older. So her and Duncan weren't twins.
Yeah, that helped. This scene really clarified a lot.
And Lily was in college. She was talking about all the college things she did and how she stole her college boyfriend's girlfriend and all these things. And then she's like, oh, why does this fountain have my name on it? And then we wake up.
Yeah, sad. No, I really like that scene. It's heartbreaking in a certain way. It's just like, oh, damn. I mean, obviously, the dream logic that it would all be like working out and like, look at how good my life would have been after all this. But it's still like, this bittersweet look.
Definitely. And then we cut to real life and Keith is like, are you ready, baby? We're going to have you pretend to be Gia on the phone so we can call her dad's like account manager or whatever and reach out to Woody.
Lawyer.
Oh, is it his lawyer?
Yes.
So she calls and she's like, yeah, they like pretends to be Gia, puts on her Gia accent.
Very good Gia voice.
We need to change his heart medication or whatever. And Keith is able to tap into the call at the same time. So then he can pick up on when he's like, okay, Gia, don't worry. I'm going to call your dad. And we find out that Woody is at like a dude ranch.
Yes, that hunts a dude ranch to hunt quail. The Quail Creek Lodge in Reno.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So after graduation, that's what Keith is going to do. He's going to go find the men with the gun and the quail and go catch Woody.
Yeah.
And then we go graduation.
Is that my name? Oh, we're next.
Yeah, high school graduation, man. What a fucking joke.
Got some opinions, huh?
I was in the front row. I got in trouble for talking.
Oh my gosh.
I was next to my friend Rebecca and alphabetically, and this guy that I was friends with and had known since kindergarten. And his cousin was on the other side of him. So the four of us just talked the entire time because like we were bored out of our minds. And at one point the vice principal or the principal or whoever looked at me and shushed me. And I was like, what are you going to do? And then I went up to the front and I believe my vice principal was like, I'm very impressed that you made it here. And I was like, me too, considering all the dress code violations they gave me for no fucking reason.
You got a Clemens talk.
Uh-huh. I didn't though. I was just like a smile. I was like, eh.
Right.
They're like, you made it. And I was like, I sure as fuck did. You weren't going to keep me here.
Good times.
Their only threat to me was that I wouldn't get to walk.
Oh, but
it was never I'd still graduate. And I was like,
who cares later?
And I was like, cool. And they're like, won't your mom be mad? And I was like, yeah, but you'll have to listen to her. I won't. Needless to say, they did not give a fuck. That and I had really bad attendance towards the end. But I
smoked cigarettes at school.
I had a 4.06. It's the highest GPA you could get there.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Towards the end, I stopped attending, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You're getting out.
I was getting out, and much like Veronica, I was very grateful to be getting out.
Yes.
But it's a painfully long, boring pomp and circumstance thing that's like supposedly for the graduate, but it's really for the parents. But the parents aren't the ones sitting in the middle of a fucking football field.
Yeah, it's true. I remember they kept mine pretty short. They just like moved through it because there were so many kids. So they're just like, get a couple speeches up here, get you out of here.
I feel like mine took forever.
Oh yeah, I was pretty lucky, I think.
But I was also like within the first 5 to 10 people that were
Oh
called.
right, yeah, I'm like middle, slightly to the back of the middle.
I don't remember anyone's speech.
No.
I don't remember anything being memorable at all.
No.
Except that I showed up to school in my pajamas every day because, you know, you're going to come while you get dressed. And or I wore short shorts, apparently. And on graduation day, I mean, the day of when we did rehearsal, I was wearing, I think, like a large T-shirt and a pair of shorts. And then I showed up for graduation with hair extensions down to my butt and like my makeup done and in a dress and heels. And multiple people asked who that was. Who is that?
Solid.
Who is that? No. No. That's her. Like, good. Like, was I that ugly?
It's like, she's all that, took off the glasses, and it's like, oh my God.
I will never forget being like, what the fuck? Like, just wanted nice photos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, you know, party fun times. And then I went home with my best friends and we drank vodka and Gatorade in Casey's bedroom.
It sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have any vodka Gatorade?
No. We had grad night that night, so I think I just went home with like my family, and then like later that night went to grad night.
Oh. We did grad night the night before graduation, I think.
Oh God, that is the worst idea I've ever heard.
Maybe 2 nights before, but something like that. We had rehearsal the day after grad night.
That's brutal. No, I mean, I got to just like sleep.
No.
Getting back at like 6 a.m. is rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was dark. But you had fucking graduation, gross little caps and gowns, all sweaty. Everyone's all...
But you know who, at least you didn't get arrested.
I did not, and Weevil did, so...
Yeah, fucking awful. Like...
The fact that Sheriff Lamb shows up to arrest Weevil during the graduation makes me question, one, Clemens just is going to let this happen?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, the adults are not on any of the kids' sides in the show, and the police department, the sheriff's department, we always know, is just the fucking worst at all times.
We also find out during graduation that Beaver got Mac and him a hotel room at the Neptune Grand for the after party.
Uh-huh. And that Dick is not in the crowd graduating with everybody else, even though he's graduating in Veronica's dream.
And
only a dream.
That Clemens is like, Veronica, what do I do if I get another one of you in the future? I don't know if my life's going to be easier or harder without you. See, like nothing in my life was as heartfelt. It was just like, damn, she made it up here. Like, okay.
I like that. No, he had a good push and pull.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
he pretended like he knew everything that she was doing, even though he 100% did not. But also knew that he couldn't like stop her from doing all those things, so he might as well embrace.
And she said, whatever you do, don't keep your passwords taped under your stapler again.
Yeah, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, whatever you do, if Logan pisses me off, will you come beat him up?
Can you pick him up for me?
Exactly.
Physically?
Just toss him, yeah.
God, what a move. What a man, Clemens. Yeah, see, like mine was nothing like this.
Man.
It was just like, congrats, Emily.
Yeah.
You?
They're just like, yes, you. I think I've seen you in my office once or twice. Congratulations.
Of the school board members was one of my brother and mine growing up best friends' dads. So like I have a photo with him too. Like, you know, you go through and you shake everyone's hand.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
So I have some nice photos of me with some adults that remember me as a small child.
That's good. No, no such relationship.
Small town though, baby. We started, I think you start with like 400 to 600 kids and you graduate with around 300.
Mm-hmm.
Like we lose a good chunk to teenage pregnancy and drugs and alcohol.
That is rough.
Meth. I don't know how many we lose to meth specifically, but I do know
it's an issue.
Meth is a pretty big thing out there.
I just kept my head down and then I got out.
That sounds much nicer.
And here we are. But we all need a Keith in the crowd congratulating us when we graduate.
Yeah. For example, my aunt blows an air horn, which isn't
Oh,
allowed
there you
within the venue. And then she blows it again for someone else just so people don't get suspicious.
Hell yeah, you got to throw it off throw off the trail. It was Brian's parents.
God, but at least ours weren't indoor. An indoor graduation sounds awful.
Yeah, ours was outdoor as well.
But yeah, so Wallace graduates, Mac goes through, Dick doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wasn't allowed to walk.
I think that's what it is. Because after we watched it and I was like writing down, I'm like, I don't think he graduated. It's like, oh no, he's at the school next season. So like, no, he graduated. He probably just can't walk because he's Dick.
Yeah, he did something. We leave graduation. Keith is gonna go hunt down Woody. He's on a Woody.
There's a sentence.
Woody roundup was what I was gonna say.
Well, I mean, that's probably like a Pixar
Woody's
thing.
roundup in my head. And then Mrs. Fennell comes over to Veronica and she's like, "Hey, did you know about this?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What?" And
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in like 12 episodes.
weren't you and my dad good together?
What happened there?
And she's like, "Yeah, my son ran away again, but this time for Jackie."
Right.
He's gonna go to Paris to find her. And
Yeah, well, Wallace, AFK this season, he's just out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Man about town with all these plane tickets. Where's he getting all these miles?
Then we cut to fucking Jackie, who is walking into a cafe in New York with a little kid who yells "mommy" and runs at a different person.
Right. She's got the whole waitress thing going.
Mhm.
Like classic
Diner.
uniform. Yeah, diner uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And we find out that the woman who owns this establishment is Jackie's mother.
Mhm.
And Jackie had a child when she was in her early years of high school.
Yes.
And the child was with her mother while she had been off with her dad. And she was the product of a one-night stand with Terrence Cook and her mother. We find this all out because Veronica was suspicious.
Yeah.
When Jackie showed up to work and knew how to serve tables and Veronica was able to leave her alone to run her own side that first night.
Mm-hmm. I rescind my statement. That of course she knew what she was doing. She's an expert. But yeah, we find out the finer details of Jackie's background in the later scene with Wallace.
Yes.
But you can kind of infer it. You kind of get the idea.
So Jackie's like, "Yeah, I lied about my life, but I didn't lie about Wallace." And Veronica calls her at the cafe to confront her and be like, "Hey, Wallace is on his way to Paris. He's got a layover at JFK, so you should probably go meet him there before he flies to Paris for no reason. And, you're not there."
Yeah, do the whole thing. You won't be able to find him in the terminal because this is after 9/11.
Mm-hmm. So, you're going to have to make this work. Then we go to the Neptune Grand. Aaron and Logan run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron's like, "Hey, son, don't you want me to be your dear old dad again? I never stopped being your dad." Yeah. And Logan's like, "Please leave me the fuck alone."
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron's like, "But I control the money now."
Right. Aaron's like, mask off. And I also got like acquitted. So like, fuck around, see what happens.
Yep. He's like, "You're my dependent, son."
Yep. He's like, yep, get in line.
And then we cut to Woody in the woods.
Yep. Watch Dukes of Hazzard in his boxies.
Is that not what you would do after quail hunting?
Oh, that's what I do every time.
Every time you quail hunt, or just every time?
Just every time in general. Every time you get up, I'm like, look at what these Duke boys have gotten into.
Have you ever watched the Dukes of Hazzard?
Maybe once.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't feel like you have.
I know the Duke boys, and I think their car had a name. It was called Judge, maybe. Can't remember.
And have you ever quail hunted?
No.
Have you ever hunted?
I have
anything?
never shot a gun.
Even a BB gun?
Oh, BB gun, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yep. No, nothing with like bullets.
You never committed a murder? Is that what you're saying? Can I catch you on record saying you've never committed a murder?
I've never used a gun to commit a murder.
Oh God, what have you done?
I haven't done anything. What are you talking about?
Are you telling me that my fish didn't jump out of the bowl?
So anyways.
No, but yeah, so Woody's in his boxies, he's watching Dukes of Hazzard. He gets up to go, I don't know, to the fridge or something.
Go to the bathroom,
Go to
and
the bathroom.
then, surprise.
Keith's
There's
in
a
your
man in your
shower.
shower. Yeah.
He grabs a taxidermy deer head off the wall and throws it at Keith,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure are pretty fucking heavy. Like, I don't think they're supposed to be hollow like that.
But Keith is just like, fwing, like, like it's like bouncing off Captain America's shield.
Uh-huh. And then he throws a deer at Keith, and then they wrestle for a bit, and
And then Keith tasers him.
Keith tasers him, and then we call the police. And then the police come, they get ready to load into Woody's plane. Woody's saying like, oh no, it wasn't me, I didn't do the thing, blah blah blah. It's not me.
Yeah. And then Keith's confronting him about the molesting kids. And he's like, you don't understand, like I cared for these kids, twisting it kind of thing.
Twisted weird things, gross.
Yep.
And then the last thing we see is Woody getting onto the plane. And Keith is following him.
Yep. Because he talks to Veronica and he's like, yep, we're gonna be flying home on Woody's plane with everybody. And I wrote down bad vibes on this one. Like, no. This has bad news written all over it.
Yeah. It's not good. And then Veronica's like, well, I'm still investigating things, so I'm going to go to Woody's Burgers, which was filmed in an In-N-Out.
Yes, 100%.
It made me want In-N-Out so badly.
Yeah, I know.
I want In-N-Out so badly. Do you think we can just like buy their product? Like, do you think we can just be like, okay, like we need wherever they get their buns from, and wherever they get their cheese from, and wherever they get their potatoes from, and then we need that
and
potato.
their burger.
But you know what I'm talking about, with the potato thing that they have that looks kind of like a.
It's like an apple slicer, potato slicer.
Yeah, I want one of those. That's so fancy.
It is fancy.
Anyway, so they go into this In-N-Out, and I immediately got jealous of all of the people that aren't terrified of getting COVID from fast food and are able to go to In-N-Out.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't. I haven't gotten that as much with this show of like, damn, when things were normal until going into the fast food, and it's like, damn.
I could go for like a grilled cheese.
Yeah. Go for a double.
We can make one. We can do it. We could do our own. We could DIY
It's not gonna be as good.
Well, not with that attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And so Woody's Burgers has a sign or a photo of the Little League team that had been sponsored by Woody.
Yeah. Do you remember seeing those in like fast food restaurants? Like,
yeah, I worked at a local ice cream parlor. We had like 14.
Right. Of course. Never mind.
Emily, is do you think they're gonna want to sponsor or get like one of these, or like we can get a calendar from them? I think we had one for the fucking like volleyball team, cheer team, like you fucking name it, we had one.
Just like Jackie Daytona.
God, and half the time like someone come in and they're like, oh yeah, like can you talk to like your boss? And I'm like, I don't fucking know you. I don't give a shit about
right,
sports.
what team is this?
Or like sometimes it'd be like the rival school, and I'm like, I'm not allowed to touch this.
Right.
I was born and bred Bullpup Red. I can't look at this.
Got burns on my hands.
I know one thing, and it's loyalty. I don't give a fuck about your sports. Not for me. But yeah, I always thought it was funny because I was like, what if instead of making these expensive poster things to give to people, they just like saved the money?
No.
Do you ever think about things like that? Like how much people spend on fundraising?
Yeah.
I thought about that a lot as a child. I thought
I
this was a
didn't.
very fruitless process.
I didn't really understand the full like fundraising pipeline that was going on.
Or like how like they'd have you like sell gift wrapping or like those little like
Yeah.
books where then you could pick
Mhm.
things to order.
Yeah, I got bought in on that. But I wasn't a good seller, so it was like I really want the prize, but like also I have like severe social anxiety and I don't want to go talk to strangers. So,
I just put it on the table at Granny's house and then picked it up a week later.
well, some of us don't have a mall for or a village center.
Or I'd go visit T. Mickey. Do you want cookie dough? We're selling cookie dough.
Yeah, I was supposed to also call my family, but that was also like I can't just call my aunt. What are you, crazy?
Well, if I didn't, then my mom would be like, "Did you call your aunt yet?" And then she'd rat me out if I didn't. So I
Yeah.
had to call and tell her.
Uh-huh. That's what would happen, but I'd be like, "No, dude, I would rather you rat me out."
But then you can't get as many sales.
I
I'd
know.
take it to Miss Vicky's, sell it all the moms there.
Yes.
Oh,
This isn't rational. This is social anxiety.
I respect it. I guess my social anxiety manifested in different ways, like public speaking.
Yeah, no, talking to people one-on-one is no, I couldn't do it.
Oh, I one-on-one I can do.
I always preferred in a group. It's like, I can just jump in and jump out.
Really? I
Yeah.
prefer one-on-one. It's easier to control the conversation.
See, I couldn't, and I felt like I was like as if me and someone else like there's an old Mike Birbiglia joke about like tennis being like sex, but it's like a similar thing with like conversation. Like they'd hit a ball over to me and I just like whack it over the fence, and it's just like, we'll try again. Give me a different topic.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was always constantly worried about like just dropping the conversation because I would, and then it'd be like, okay, so I'd have to come in with my like few things of like backup to like talk about,
I would just get anxious that
and then
like
I'd fire through them. And
they
I'd be
didn't
like, fuck.
want to buy it, and then I was gonna feel like guilty for
Oh.
like making them say no because I didn't like saying no, so I assumed everyone didn't like saying no. Fun fact: nobody says no to you when you're 7.
Yeah. I didn't have that confidence. I was like, oh my god, this is the scariest thing ever, and I can't do this.
Yeah. The child who had never heard no was just afraid of it.
I see. Could be coming around the corner.
I haven't got it yet, but one day my cute's not going to work anymore. But yes, so yeah, we've got In-N-Out, Woody's Burgers, the team poster, and we noticed there was someone who wasn't included on the original team poster that Veronica has, but's on the one in the In-N-Out, aka Woody's Burgers.
Yeah, because there's two people that were cut out from the photo. That were on the left, and one person that stayed behind him, and then Cassidy Casablancas.
Darren Applegate and Cassidy Casablancas.
Oh, you wrote his name.
Yeah. I wrote down Darren, and then we got to Cassidy, and I was like, oh, I didn't see that part, so then I only had Darren's name written down.
Perfect.
That's why I made you pause it.
You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, what? Are we supposed to know him?
Right.
Because I hadn't looked up.
Darren.
So we now learn that Beaver was the third person on the call.
Yep. So Veronica is freaking out and is like, oh shit, it was Beaver who did all this shit. So she's trying to call Mac, and Mac is at the party that is raging at, I can only say maybe 5:30 p.m. At the Neptune Grand, and is not answering her phone. And so we get to watch the train wreck of us knowing shit and Mac being like, yeah. And Beaver's like, how about we go up to our room? And like Mac's like, yay, it's finally happening. And we're like, fuck.
Yeah. Not literally.
Right. Yes. As in the negative. As in like, oh shit.
Inflection matters.
It's not we're like chanting at her like, yeah. We high
God.
five through the TV. Me and Mac is just like, yeah, bro.
Oh God.
Yeah, no.
That's disgusting.
It is.
Sex is a beautiful and intimate thing, and it should be shared with people who care about you.
It is.
Even if it's not like love, as long as you both have mutual respect, you do you.
Mm-hmm. And then on their way up, they run into our stoner friend who's like, oh, they caught Woody, bro. And it's like, that sleazoid's gonna fry. And then does a buzz sound, and it made me laugh so hard.
It was a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's very definition of a lot, but it was very funny.
So then we go to their hotel room. Beaver and Mac are in bed.
Yep.
It looks like all like like good old sex scene, and then all of a sudden it's just like them just laying there.
Yeah, exactly. That and Max consoling him of like,
We have
it's
all night.
yeah. Um yeah, it's all right. We'll be okay.
Yeah, we can try again later, I believe was the energy behind that.
Yes, exactly. And then Veronica arrives and is like looking for them, and Dick is like, "Oh yeah, they went to do the business and like whatever." And Logan is like, wait, why should I can actually read people? What's going on here?"
All of a sudden Logan is paying attention for the first
Yes.
time in his life because his father just scared the shit out of him downstairs.
Totally.
He's like, ah, damn, now I have to like pay attention.
Right. Is this what the world looks like?
Oh, God. And so Veronica runs off. Logan's kind of like watching, but not. And she's like, I need to go find him. Veronica texts Mac, get away from Beaver now. He's a killer. Beaver stays in bed while Mac goes to take a shower. Beaver hears Mac's phone buzzing and goes to check it.
Mm-hmm.
Beaver reads the text and he texts back, meet me on the roof, from Mac's phone. So Veronica thinks it's Mac.
Yeah.
Veronica goes to get in the elevator, and Aaron fucking Eccles is there with a glass of, is it a bottle of port and 2 wines?
It looked like
Or 2 wine glasses.
yeah, it was either that or like a brandy or something that he was holding.
I couldn't tell if they were wine glasses or tulips. They were like in that weird middle ground where I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to be like modern looking or if it's just like an awkward looking like tulip.
Right.
Or like a stemless wine glass.
Yeah, the where he's gripping it.
Aaron Eccles is like, man, I got away with murder. Look, I can be creepy to you in this elevator.
Yes.
Aren't I creepy?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and break you.
And Veronica's just like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm busy right now.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a lot of shit going on.
Just like, I was just like, I could not imagine. He's like, yeah, like you're really outgoing and aggressive, just like your friend Lily. That's what I loved about smashing her head in with that ashtray is that she finally stopped talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, good God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that shit is affecting in an eerie way. And I think that's like where you can, what would have been my most charitable read about like Aaron Eccles, like, oh, he is the ultimate of like celebrity and like white privilege, and now he gets to run free and do whatever the fuck he wants, like mask off. Like that's compelling, until the end of the episode. But like you can see that being like a good reason to let this person go because he's like now this like horrible specter.
Yeah.
But
So he's like, yeah, freedom is sweet. And then we get to the roof.
Yep.
Beaver is on the roof with a gun.
Mm-hmm. Beaver's got a gun.
And he's like, what do you know? And she's like, well, Woody molested all 3 of you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want the information to get out about you. You didn't want to be part of the conversation when they went public about it. So instead of just letting them go public about it and like just not participating, you murdered them with a bus crash.
Yeah. Which crazy that he jumped to like criminal mastermind in terms of like planning a bus explosion.
Yeah.
I understand emasculated man and like lashing out violently at other people that like threaten him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. It may be a bit too far for me on that one.
Yeah. I mean, crazier things have happened by real people, but
100%.
it is weird. It is strange. He had made the call to blow up the bus. He had Curly murdered because Curly had told Weevil that he knew it was Beaver because Beaver had asked him about like stunt explosions and things like that as his dad's mechanic.
Yes. And had worked with Hart, who was the boy that I mentioned in the last episode that made the weird comments. Because Hart was the kid who films the war movies that filmed Lynn when she jumped off the bridge last season. And so He had worked with Hart on his war movies, so knew a thing or two about like timing explosives.
And that's why Hart was so defensive when Veronica talked to him, because last time he talked to her, she threatened him because
Yes.
of Logan's mom and the film.
Yes. It all made much more sense in this episode where it's like, oh, that's who this kid is.
Yes.
Um,
But so, and then Servando was already like telling everyone how he hustled the Fitzpatricks, so it was easy for Beaver to then justify that one.
or yeah, to manipulate. It was to manipulate the PCHers into going after Curly. Yes, and then when they beat up Curly, he was sitting in a car ready to run Curly over, or was at least just sitting there to make sure Curly got killed.
And then since Weevil didn't let his boys kill Curly all the way,
Yeah.
then Beaver ran over Curly with the car and then drove over and pushed him off the ledge of the cliff.
Yeah. So then, but before he pushed him over the edge of the cliff, wanted to throw off the scent, so wrote Veronica's name on Curly's hand and then dumped Curly's body into the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Because she was already a suspect in the whole Aaron Eccles thing.
Yes.
And then he had hired her to catch his dad with insider training. It was never to catch his stepmom for cheating on his dad, because he knew Kendall was having an affair. He didn't care.
Right. He just wanted to screw his dad over, which, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, that one I don't have any. There's nothing against that. You do that.
Right. But then the coup de grace, of course, she's like, I got chlamydia, and Woody had chlamydia, and Dick said that you pushed you into a room with me, but you didn't leave.
Yeah, you raped me at Shelley Pomeroy's party, and you gave me chlamydia, the chlamydia that you'd gotten from
Woody.
Which at no point in between when Woody molested him and like becoming an older kid did he take antibiotics.
Right. Because no one else would have known, I guess. So even a doctor wouldn't have checked him, because boys don't get STD tested. So maybe that's it.
Well, but just in general, like if you don't most antibiotics kill it, or is it only a specific style of antibiotics that get rid of chlamydia?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't know. But my God, like what? So it's like literally everything that happened this season, Beaver was pulling the strings from his lair in the volcano. It's very Bond villain, or like, it's so fucking over the top in like some really bad ways that he was just like pulling the strings the whole time. And I really hate that when they try and make things like super extra tidy, rather than like letting things be like coincidence that like shit happens. It's just like, oh, but you didn't count on like Weevil and Curly like ended up fucking dead or something. I don't know. It seems like a lot of, and it wasn't planned this way, but it seems like they went backwards. Like, oh, okay, well now we can connect these all to Beaver because we didn't have time to resolve any of this. So now it's all coming out in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And he had put the bomb under Woody's car.
Yes.
And we learn now that he planted a bomb on Woody's plane.
Yeah, my God. And then he's just like, call your dad, Veronica. Say goodbye.
Mm-hmm. So she calls Keith and he doesn't answer.
No, Veronica, I expect you to die. Oh, you haven't seen Goldfinger. Never mind. Moving on.
And then Keith doesn't answer, and then Beaver blows up the plane.
Yeah, which happened to be just either taxiing at that moment and was just like right behind them. I don't know, but you could see the explosion.
Getting ready to land. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, perfect timing. Yeah, just too wild. But looking into the production notes on this, Beaver was always going to be the villain of season 2, even when they introduced him in season 1. So they had planned that he was going to be the killer. So as they put it, like the less manly version of like the Dick was always planned. But the stuff about the rape was added later.
Oh yeah, because rape's a great plot point.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's really gross.
And then
Actually, one tidbit on that. I did want to say, so Kyle Gallner, who plays Beaver, he didn't know that his character was the murderer until just before shooting it.
oh god, that explains because he portrays Beaver as like a very earnest character.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing. It is totally unearned. We get no inkling that he's got anything going on behind him until this episode.
Yeah.
But here's what he said. I had no idea up until before we shot the episode. They wouldn't tell me. The only reason I found out was the wardrobe guy had gotten the script and he was like, "Do you want to know?" And I was like, "What?" And he kind of spilled the beans, actually. So I had no idea. I thought it was more along the lines of I was younger than everybody, so I wasn't going off to college. That's why I was only in one season. I didn't know it was because that whole thing was going to happen. So I literally didn't know until probably about a week before.
Good God.
I know, I understand keeping it tight-lipped on like shows like this. Mm-hmm. And shows often shoot like multiple, scenes to like throw people off. But yeah.
It's like that last in the Gilmore Girls Year in a Life, because the big thing with when they brought back Gilmore Girls was the last 4 words, because when they ended it at season 7, the Palladinos weren't working on Gilmore Girls. This is not a Gilmore Girls podcast, but this is just a very quick segue. Mm-hmm. And so Amy was always like, yeah, I had a planned last 4 words that haven't gotten said yet. And then as they were filming that last bit, Amy was like talking to Lauren Graham, who plays Lorelai, and she's like, I never told you them. And she's like, no. And she's like, do you want to know them? And she's like, I don't know. And so then finally she was like, she told her what they were. And then they filmed that last bit and had to have like NDAs on the set. Like it was a closed set because they filmed it about halfway through, just because like where they filmed all 4 of those really like all at the same time and like where they were on location. Does that make sense? Like,
right. Yeah.
So that one was filmed I think at the halfway point they filmed that last scene.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, everyone had to sign everything, like sign all the NDAs. And I am so impressed that it didn't get leaked.
Totally.
Because those,
Yeah. I know they did stuff like that for Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Twin Peaks. They shot 2 versions of who Laura Palmer's killer was.
Who was the other option? Like the fake version?
Okay, it's a show from 90, 91, 90. So, spoiler warnings. Just skip ahead about 30 seconds here. It was, oh my God. Richard Horn, Benjamin Horn.
Oh, that I can see it.
Totally.
It's fair. But yeah, so Beaver, we didn't know Beaver was bad. Beaver didn't know Beaver was bad.
No.
Beaver, it's like, okay, Veronica, I'm going to make you jump because it'll be easier. Like just jump off the building and then I don't have to like get myself dirty killing you.
Yep. And
she somehow manages to like forward Logan the text that Beaver had sent her from Mac's phone on the windows or on the rooftop somehow. It looks like she forwarded Mac's text to him.
Yeah, because I was like, does Logan not save Veronica's number? But
I think it's because it's Mac's number.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Beaver's like, I'm gonna make you jump, and subtle as fuck Logan is here to save the day.
No, can't put away so much testosterone boiling through this boy that he can't just stay quiet for 2 seconds as Veronica's in peril. He just goes, no. It's like, God damn it, Logan.
And then
you're stronger than this kid.
Beaver shoots at Logan and then Logan runs, but he waits until the bullet has hit the thing next to him before he moves.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'm like, that'd probably be me if someone shot at me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'd be quick on my feet.
No.
When it comes to TV, it's great. So then Veronica tackles Beaver. Logan tackles Beaver. This is literally the notes I wrote.
Perfect.
Veronica finally has the gun. She's like, I'm gonna shoot him, and Logan's like, Veronica, you're not a killer. And I'm like, are we sure?
Right, exactly. It's just like, I mean,
he gave her chlamydia.
Let her pull the trigger.
As you so aptly said, some men just need killing.
Yep, I got that from you.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite quotes from Snapped. A 10 out of 10 television show. You really want to hating awful men since the early years. Snapped. That's what Snapped's about.
There you go.
So he gets Beaver goes over to the ledge and he's gonna jump, and Logan goes, Beaver, don't. And he goes, my name's Cassidy. And he's like, Cassidy, don't. And Beaver's like, why? And Logan just stares at him and he's like, exactly. And then he does the coolest fucking jump.
Yeah, it just like, it's like Chris Angel, like jump off the back there.
Yeah,
Mind freak.
It was very just like, whoop. He just jumps backwards. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I mean, there's a lot of things that he did that I couldn't do.
He's not a model.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe.
He seems like a nice boy.
No, don't go on the edge of buildings. It's dangerous. So he jumps. It's a smooth jump is what I wrote.
10 out of 10.
Literally smooth. Like it's very, it glides.
Mm-hmm.
And then Veronica's like, oh God, Mac.
Yep.
They go downstairs. They find Mac. Was she locked to the bed, or was she just, he'd taken everything?
No, yeah, he had taken her clothes.
He took her clothes. He took the bedding. He took everything except for like one sheet, I think.
Yeah, and she's just there like huddled.
Yeah, she's just there wrapped in the sheet. Like, he took everything. Why? Where did he go? Why did he do this?
It's fucking awful.
So weird too.
I hate it.
Because in her eyes, it was like, we had a thing. It didn't go well for him. Whatever.
Right.
I went to take a shower. I come back and everything's gone.
Right. Or did he do something like before he left?
Oh.
That's what, like, see, we don't know, but like insinuates that like she's damaged regardless, and it's, I hate it.
Well, I assume that was just because she slept with him before that. Because
right.
of the whole, you know.
Mm-hmm. But like, how would she know about anything sitting in the hotel room? So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, then we cut to Kendall and Aaron, who were upstairs in their room at the Neptune Grand having a hot and heavy time.
Yeah, hey,
he's a free man.
Exactly. He's just got to find any other girls that like Logan's hooked up with.
Yeah, see who else he can sleep with that his son has.
Mm-hmm.
And they finish romping around on the couch. Kendall goes to take a shower or whatever. Romping. And then he lights a cigar inside in the hotel.
Yep.
And then there's a gunshot to the head.
2 shots. Bang, bang. Weedman.
Isn't just one?
2 shots.
There's 2 shots?
2 shots. I wrote down 2 shots, Weedman.
Oh.
Pop, pop.
I said, who murdered? Oh, Clarence Weedman.
Who? Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember this part at all.
Oh, I totally did.
I didn't remember.
Because it's so stupid that they kill him off, that they do like the whole thing of like, wow, like emotionally devastate everybody that like Aaron's getting out and put him through the ringer, and it's like, okay, like where are you going with this? It's like, oh, nowhere. Like he's literally just going to be like off the show. We have nothing else to do with him.
And then we cut to baby boy Donkey.
And baby Donkey.
And baby Lily.
Baby Lily, apologies.
They're on the coast in Australia. They're on the beach. Duncan brought his baby to the beach.
Brought her to Australia via Mexico.
Yeah, I don't want to think about like what those flights were like. Do you think he went to Hawaii first and then went?
Yeah, they're just island hopping.
Oh my God, they went to the Big Island.
The Big Island, exactly.
God. So then he gets a phone call and he goes CW, and Clarence Weedman goes, it's done. And we know that Duncan ordered the hit.
Yeah.
Which seems very hard.
You said CW, right?
Yeah. Clarence Weedman.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, the network that this moves to, the CW, did not put 2 in the back of the head of the show.
I'm just wondering if maybe they were insinuating that CW ordered the hit.
Oh, maybe.
I thought that last night. I was like, I wonder if this is like a direct like thing, or if it was just like Clarence Weedman.
They didn't know if they were going to be brought back when they're filming this, so.
And then I know we've forgotten all about it, but we have to wrap up the plot with Wallace and Jackie.
Right. They're like, okay, we've done this. Check, check. Oh, shit. Right.
Wallace is at the airport on his way to Paris. He's in New York, and Jackie comes up to him with the cheapest ticket she could buy to get in through security. And she's like, my mom's a waitress. I'm a product of a one-night stand. I have a son. My mom took my kid for me while I went to go live my life with my dad, but I had to come back to raise my kid. Like, I'm no better than my dad, and like I want to be a good parent, and blah, 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 blah. And Wallace is like, but I love you, basically. And she's like, but Wallace, like, my life is here and your life is in Neptune.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Poor Wallace. He's like, well, this ticket's non-refundable.
I'm going to Paris.
Yeah. A little too late.
Then we cut back to the Mars household.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica's having a dream of like her childhood where her dad was doing puppet shows or something.
Yeah, he's doing an in-depth puppet show. Way to go, Keith.
She smells bacon. She wakes up thinking it's her dad, walks into the kitchen, and it's just Logan making her breakfast because she is sad.
Yeah, because her dad's dead.
Because he blew up in the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, Dad? And then Logan's like, oh, I'm sorry. And so she cries. And then Keith walks out of the bedroom. And you go, excuse me.
Yeah, it's like, Logan, you should have fucking said something. Not just been, I'm sorry.
Well, Logan didn't know he was there.
Did he not?
No, Logan was asleep on the couch when Keith got home. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I know. I knew that, but I thought that he would. Yeah, okay.
I didn't know he came in.
I assumed that he had known.
No, because that's why he leaves. So then Keith gets...
Okay.
So Keith comes out and she's like, how are you alive? What
What a fun joke I'm playing.
When his plane blew up. And he's like, well, Lamb didn't want me on the plane when they got off because he didn't want it to look like someone else did their job.
Yeah.
So I rented a car and drove home. She's like, oh my God, Dad. And like while they're hugging, he's like, yeah, like, well, I was like surprised to find Logan on my couch. It was better than finding him somewhere else in the house. And I assume he meant asleep on my couch. And then Logan just like leaves.
Right. And he's just like, later. Deuces. But Keith stays dead longer than Chewbacca does. That's all I thought of when I saw that happen. I was just like, oh, well, okay.
I just imagined you telling Chewie to play dead in my head. That was exactly what like my brain did.
No, you just don't remember. You don't remember when Kylo Ren's just like, call your friend Han. Dad. Just kidding.
Dad. And then we cut over to a scene with Kendall finding out that Beaver's life insurance policy isn't valid because of suicide, but that the investments he had made.
Yes, he bet against incorporation.
He bet against incorporation, and therefore he their returns were in the 8 millions. The 8 millions.
The 8 millions, as in 8 million.
Obviously, I have way more than that in my account. The 8 millions.
Yes. The multiple 8 millions I have is to the power of 4.
Oh my God. And then we're like, cool, whatever. Of course, Kendall. I mean, as long as whatever, Kendall, you do you.
Yeah.
Then we cut over to Veronica and Keith, who are packing to go on a little trip to New York together.
Yeah.
And Veronica's packing pepper spray just in case she runs into that Trump character.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, they really evaluate. Like, have you voted? If so, what's your... Or
Totally.
if not, what's your voting plan?
This is this is not a recent thing that this man's been awful.
Yeah, he's been a creep for a long time now, so please vote.
Yes.
Please vote. Are you voting? Are you registered to vote? Did you mail your ballot in?
Or at the very least, there's lots of stuff in your local area, so there you go.
Please vote. We Keith's like, yeah, like we're packing. He's like, how's Logan doing? And he's like, well, he calls himself Little Orphan Annie, so I'm assuming not well.
And as these things tend to go.
Logan's gonna drop her off at the airport, and Keith's gonna meet her there. Logan comes to take her stuff out, like take her to the airport, all that. They're making out in the hallway. It's cute. It's hot and heavy. All the things that young love are supposed to be. Yeah, we're like, yes, this relationship is finally back on because they have great chemistry. And then Kendall shows up and she's like, I need to talk to your dad. And Veronica's like, he doesn't carry a lot of money right now. So like, you know,
yeah, good luck.
So she goes over to him and she's like, Keith, I need you to do something for me. And he's like, well, it'll have to wait till I get back. And she's like, no. And she opens a briefcase of what I assume is money. We don't see the inside.
Yeah, I know. I just like that.
I don't know. Could have been a
else could it
bomb.
be? Right. Exactly.
And he's like, okay, so he talks to her, and then we cut to Veronica at the airport, and she doesn't get service where she is, and she's waiting for her dad, and he's not there at her gate, and her flight's boarding, and I'm like, who travels in a denim mini skirt for like a 5-hour flight?
Yep.
It's gonna get cold,
It's
and it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And dad's missing at the gate, and end scene.
Yeah. A rough ending.
Just, I mean,
You know.
it's just fucking weird.
It is.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. And that's the end of season 2.
Which means it's time for us to talk about.
Yeah. Deep breath.
I don't feel like that came from like deep down inside of you.
Okay.
I feel like you kept that all in the
Okay.
upper part of your chest. Yeah, into the belly. There you go. Good job.
Yeah. Let's talk, overall impressions, favorite episodes, favorite characters, and favorite character relationships.
How do you think they came up with the plot for this season?
So they'd looking up, Rob Thomas had originally envisioned this as a 1-season mystery. And so then he had to come up with something like bigger for the second season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it is playing improv and just trying to build off it.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of my assumption because it really feels like that. It's really slapdash. It's really all over the place. There's like a lot of things that happen and you're like, oh my God, like Meg, right? Like resolved, and they like bring her back to only kill her off, and they bring back Duncan for like 11 episodes, and then also, even though they knew they didn't want to bring him back almost to begin with,
They could have just sent him to live in Napa with his parents.
totally. And Rob Thomas has said like, yeah, I mean, we wrote him off because there was no fan impetus pretty much, or no fan love for Duncan. It was just like, it was obvious a suitor had won, and yet they bring him back and they force like Veronica and Logan apart because it's the thing in TV shows where they don't know how to write couples being like together and like make them have
like
a good time.
How dare couples? What if the story was about like the things that happen instead of their relationships?
Yeah, exactly. But that's
Or
not,
like how to develop a deeper, like the deeper parts. There's so much in relationships besides the will they, won't they date.
yeah,
As a child, I think because television's like this, or like Gilmore Girls or anything like that, it's like the will they, are they together? Are they not together? And you don't really learn about like the aspect of like how you grow closer to someone and like what healthy arguing looks like, or like how to have healthy relationships, like those awkward relationship talks. The only character they kind of did a good job within this was Mac and Beaver, in the sense of like, ooh, like they pushed things to a certain spot and then Beaver freaked out. But even then it became like a breakup versus like a fight.
totally. And also then backtracking, it's just like, oh, this is like he's damaged and that's why he can't. Whereas before it's like this, he's just like impotent, like he feels like emasculated like by his brother and things, and so he's like very nervous about doing anything. But then they take it to that he's been sexually assaulted and like then also like extremely perverse about that, which ruins it. But yeah, it's super frustrating and something I always hated with shows growing up, and I mean I still hate it now, but I just think it's like less of a trope when you're not watching shows that are like 22 episodes. Yeah, it just bugs me. And then it makes Logan into an insufferable asshole for like the majority of the season.
For no reason.
Yeah, they try and reset him back to season 1, but without a lot of the charm. And then you strand him with Kendall, who's extremely poorly written and like doesn't get the fun of being a foil.
Yeah, like Kendall could be such a fun character.
Totally.
Like Cruella DeVille, Wicked Stepmother, but like real life and like in the fun way where she's just like playing a game. Like she's not evil, she's strategic.
Yeah.
We've villainized women who like strategy.
Totally. And instead we get the worst realization of like the gold digger stereotype,
Yeah.
and she also has no power.
And she stole someone else's identity.
Right. And we give, yeah, they can't even put away their contempt for women enough to like give her some sort of power to make it engaging to watch her. It's like, no, we're just watching this woman that it's like, it's kind of sad, but yet like we have no sympathy for her.
Yeah, we villainize women who want power.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And hers is like, I just want money and I'm going to sleep with men to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, great. Do you, but we don't have to make this like an evil thing.
Well, and also like lots of sugar daddies don't even make you sleep with them.
Totally.
Like there's other arrangements. It's just the narrow-minded Rob Thomas.
Totally.
Or his writing room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Jackie gets better, but she starts out
Awful.
yeah, insufferable too. Like, but she's really just a prop to be like, we need to pair Wallace off with someone, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wallace is like MIA for a few episodes in the middle of the season. So it's just like all over the place in a not great way. And there's some spots that I really liked for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's like all an absolute like train wreck. I think also just coming off this last episode, it makes me have a bad taste in my mouth.
It feels like this entire season is like that one, if you took all of the parts of Gilmore Girls where Rory and Lorelai are fighting. Because like, I think it's in seasons 5 and 6, there's like, there's a 10 or 11 episodes in 6. And then there's like, before that, there's like 3 or 4 in the season before it where they're fighting. And it's like, we didn't need this all back to back.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need this much disagreement.
Yeah.
It's okay to be mad at each other, but like we got to move past it. And I feel like this season was like if you treaded water, but like in an insane asylum.
Right. And
actually, I feel like an insane asylum would have had more structure.
Yeah, and they just didn't have. I didn't find the bus crash to be super engaging as a central conceit. And then they just tried to feed it with like layer upon layer of other mysteries that just didn't really end up going anywhere. And there was no like fun guessing game around it. It's mostly just at the end like, oh, it was all Beaver and he was a mastermind.
Yeah, and there's so many layers of bad white men to get through.
Yeah.
Also, we don't get any updates on Gia in the last episode.
No. They wanted to have Kristen Ritter in it, but she couldn't due to scheduling conflicts.
Or because she read it and she was like, good
yeah,
God,
maybe like
no.
later. But
would that have been when she ended up on Gilmore Girls?
Probably, I think around that time. Similar time. That was probably the scheduling conflict. Yeah, and I was just thinking back, I was just like, okay, so why didn't this season finale work for me in the way season 1 did? And season 1 is you get the slow realization through like actual evidence finding and things that you then get to piece together also. It's like, oh my God, this is finally all revealing, the like finding the camera and finding the tape and like how like awful that is to like see that. And then you can finally piece everything back together. But there is none of that for this. It's Veronica telling Beaver and Beaver going, yes, yes.
Yeah. And there's so many characters that were like so non-compelling that it's really hard to keep track of them.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'll say. Like, there are a lot of side characters that I forget about.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's any other show I watched that had this many side characters that weren't memorable.
Yeah, they really cycle through a lot of people.
Because I feel like other shows that have side characters, those characters have a specific quality, plot point, moment where you're like, okay, this changes the story in this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For example, like Curly Moran, that whole thing could have been left out and the plot still would have worked.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. I mean, it's a red herring-ish, but like not really, because then it ends up mattering.
Yeah.
So it could have just been a red herring and that would have been fine if used correctly. But yeah, I don't think either of us are super high on it.
No.
But we can talk about some positives from it, because there were some positives from it.
From the episode?
No, I meant from the
show?
season.
Oh.
Yeah. So what were some of your favorite episodes?
One, Angry Veronica. The one about the jurors.
Oh, yeah. Do you have yours ordered or just in a list?
I only have 3.
Okay.
They have no particular order. And I wouldn't even say I argue the entire episode is good.
All right.
One Angry Veronica, I think the whole thing is right down to them eating the pheasants and it's a very funny episode.
Yes. That's a really good one.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the one with the Winter Carnival.
Okay. Yeah, that's one that a lot of people listed.
I love that one.
It's a good one. It's a good bottle episode.
It is. And it's a good I like showing like the side of Weevil that's like the family man.
Yeah.
But also that she's like in on the scheme, but it like doesn't feel like dirty, you know what I mean? Like it's just like
she's just palling around with her uncle.
Yeah. She's just helping.
Mm-hmm.
And Look Who's Stalking.
Look Who's Stalking. Okay. Yeah, that's the one where Gia has a stalker, but also we get the Alternaprom.
Mm-hmm. I liked Alternaprom, and I like anytime we get a little visit from Leo.
Oh, yep. I forgot about Leo. Yeah.
You forgot about Leo.
I did. Very compelling.
I know. What about you?
Yeah. So I ordered mine. I've got 5 listed here. Number 5, Ahoy Mateys. I did like that episode of that's where they're going through the pirate radio recordings and like, she links up with Mac, and I think there's a really good Veronica Mac like pair off spying shenanigans in that episode, and that's why I really liked it. And also the visiting Butters and Clemens gets to be like, oh hey, my son's had to like, you know, in that parent way of like, oh, girls are coming over. Number 4 is Plan B, which is the one where everything kind of figures out for Weevil of like trying to track down like Thumper and stuff. So that's where like Veronica's working.
When he
with
blows
Weevil
up Thumper?
Yes, at the very end. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
That's the same one that we get Woody being creepy to Logan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we get like some, yeah, they really don't pay off good on that. It's I don't know. That's a weird one. But I did like that episode. Number 3 is One Angry Veronica. Great one. Number 2, Rapes of Graf. And that's the Arrested Development tie-in.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, they go.
Hair.
They go visit Hearst, and we get. There's a lot of like really funny lines in that one. So I thought that one was really enjoyable to watch.
But I think they turned that one into season 3.
Yes, they do. But I like the episode on the whole, and I am interested how I will feel about season 3 when we revisit it.
I remember liking season 3 more than season 2.
Same, but like everybody really, really hates season 3.
Yeah,
so
but didn't people like this episode?
Yes,
We are not people.
So yeah, I'm curious.
Well, we are people, but we're not those people.
Yeah, exactly. This podcast is not with this episode. Do you have a guess for number 1? Just not a title, but just in general of like what episode it might be.
Okay, let's see here. Was it one I already listed?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Is it the one with the goat? That's season 1, huh?
Yeah, that's season 1. I did like that episode, but not.
I know you love the one with the goat, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
not that you know. I don't know why you like it. I just don't know why that's the one that I know you like.
It was a little episode called Donut Run. Our last time with Duncan.
I don't like that episode.
Oh, that episode is trash, but in like the greatest way possible. That it's like really fun. That it's just like, oh my god, what is happening? Like they're stealing a baby.
Yeah, I guess I do appreciate that aspect of it, and I do appreciate it feels very soap opera-y.
Yeah, and it's so over the top in like a lot of ways, and like the shit with Vincent Van Lowe. We get a lot of Vinny in that episode, which I love.
And we get rid of Duncan.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I love that episode because it's got this really goofy, fun energy to it. So that's like number 1 with the bullet this season. As I was going back over it, like looking at episodes, I'm like, damn, this one is the one that's like always sticking out to me. So like Donut Run.
For some reason, I think about the carnival one a lot.
Oh, there you go.
Couldn't tell you why.
I
think it's because it deals with matters that are important to me.
Yes, exactly. Do you have any favorite characters from the season?
None that are new. I mean, I love Gia. Don't get me wrong. Like
she is also on my list.
We love Gia because She's just hilarious. And that scene she has with Logan, she should have had more scenes with Logan.
Oh yeah, I almost wrote that down for like
a relationship
of of interactions, because that scene is so fucking good.
That scene is hilarious because it's Gia being Gia and Logan just like not. He can't. He can't with a Gia.
Right. He's just like, oh my God, this woman is driving me up the wall. This is my worst nightmare. And it's like, yes. And she's just pushing right through it.
I always love Mac. Nothing new or surprising about that, but just like Mac as a character is great. And I like that she gets more screen time. I don't like that end piece. But I do like when Mac is mad at Veronica, because who can blame her?
Totally.
I like Jackie towards the end.
Yeah, I wrote her down with like a condition. When they allow her to be the strong
Jackie.
Yeah, then it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Because she's a beautiful, wonderful woman and a sweet character and does the right thing by everyone. But they don't honor that at the beginning. They really didn't know where they were going with her for a while.
No.
So yeah, that piece is important. I mean, I always have a little place in my heart for Clarence Weedman because he's the worst spy on the planet.
Yep. We get one episode, and apparently, like a fucking killer.
Well, Duncan ordered a hit.
Yeah, totally.
Got enough money.
Security at Kane Software, quote unquote. Yeah. No, Weedman. And we got, I didn't list that episode because I didn't really like the episode, but, the episode with Amelia de Longpre.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are my my faves.
Yeah, I match you on all those, and add in a Vinny Van Lowe because we get some good Vinny.
Yeah, you
fucking
do.
love Vinny.
You do love Vinny.
Yeah, I think Ken Marino's really good at being a dirtbag. So Vincent Van Lowe is the perfect amount of dirtbag and completely ineffectual at like what he does. So there's like, you get all the fun of him being a dirtbag without him actually being like, awful implications or being an awful human.
Yes.
Because you actually like can't really get anything done.
100% agree. Anyone else?
And I wrote Keith. We get more extra Keith this time, and this actually segues into like my interactions and stuff. Like Keith gets like some extra time to actually like go and like do shit on his own this season, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
It's only for one episode, but the Keith and Cliff team up energy is like unparalleled.
Yes, it is a lot of fun. One of my favorite duos is the Logan and Cliff episode.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good poll.
And the fact that that's what gets Cliff into the situation with Keith is because he's got documents on Logan and someone's stealing the documents. But Cliff and Veronica obviously have like a very special relationship, where it's very much like, do favors for me, please. I am smarter than you. Which I love. We love a girl who knows what she wants.
Totally.
And when she calls Cliff while he's with Logan and she gets to run the conversation, I'm like, it's just it's the best power move. Like, as a woman, you have very little control over like the narratives people spread about you or like how you show up in the world, but to have the power over a man who then is wasting the man who's paying him's time, like, it's just beautiful.
Oh, it's so good.
It makes me feel good.
Oh yeah.
So I really appreciate that. And just Cliff being like, buy a better lawyer.
Exactly.
Use daddy's money and buy a better lawyer. So that one's good to me. I like Mac and Veronica, obviously.
Great team up.
It's a very important relationship to me because it's important that, women can do shit on their own. We don't need men.
No.
And the like, I'm asking you my sluttiest friend things are always great and hilarious. It's like, oh, well, you'll know what to do about this. What should I do? And Logan and Veronica, when they spar, it's like watching like a dance battle, or almost more like a ballet because it's very in sync.
Yeah.
But I will say between this show or like shows like this and dynamics like this and relationships like this and like growing up watching Gilmore Girls, I thought that guys in high school and college were going to be able to keep up with me.
Oh, no.
And I thought they were going to be great sparring partners. I assumed once I got out of junior high that the boys were going to get faster.
No.
It was not true. It's the speed and the wit is unparalleled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have extremely good chemistry for sure.
Well, and Logan just gets some of the best lines in the show. They just write him really good lines.
Yeah, they know how to write Logan. Well, at least line wise.
Yeah.
As a character,
He lacks a lot.
totally.
He gets really good zinger, like one-liners, and his whole romantic spiel while he's drunk. We could have been epic.
Totally.
I think no one's ever told me that we could have been epic.
Apologies.
That's okay. I didn't expect it from you. Could have been would be a bad tense to have this conversation in. But I just mean, like, as you watch all these shows as a kid and like a teenager and even like the freaking like Seventh Heavens and things like that, like all of them had all these romantic relationships where you were like, oh, people are going to have this eloquent way of speaking once we get older. And it's like, oh no, these dumbasses just watched football at night. They didn't watch these shows, so they don't know what we're looking for.
Right. Or, you just don't pick up on it.
Yeah.
You don't like incorporate that because it's TV.
Or you didn't learn how to speak like eloquently and romantically from the anime that you watched.
Or I just saw the kids who did, and it was just like, oh no, like I can't be that person, because the people who did, it was like, this seems creepy. Like when it's said outside of this context.
Mm-hmm. Flirting is only creepy when it's unwanted.
Yeah.
So make sure before you flirt, it's wanted.
Yeah.
Are you going to accept my flirt, sir?
Send a request in, yeah.
It's like when you used to be able to poke people on Facebook.
But you can still poke people.
Really?
I'm pretty sure you can. 90% sure. Actually, steady to decline.
How much are you going to put on that?
I'm going to say 0. But yeah, was that all your character interactions?
Yeah.
Yeah. To add on to that, I think Weevil and Logan teaming up is pretty fucking good.
Yes.
Because they both hate each other, and they like are both like trying to be like masculine and macho, and then like having them like try and like meet at his hotel room by themselves, or like pretend like they don't know each other in public, even though they're both really bad at sneaking, is great.
Yeah, the sneaky relationship at the hotel is a pretty cute one. I like that.
It's fantastic. I also really like Gia and Veronica, because even like when Veronica's like kind of getting to know her at the beginning of the season, and like the fight they have at the end of the season, it is like Gia's like still just like, it's a really healthy relationship. Like Gia's just kind of like, yeah, we're like friends, but not like super close friends. And like Gia she gets like mad at her, but like comes back to her and realizes like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Like I was being overblown, like in understandable ways of like, especially a high schooler. Cause it's like, I felt threatened for my family, and this is all I have, like, is my family as like, a high schooler. Like I really like get a lot of out of this dynamic at home.
Mm-hmm.
But like comes back hat in hand, and like apologized to her, which is like really good. And then, Gia keeps up with her, but in a very different kind of way. She's not as like serious and like cynical as Veronica, so it's like this nice counterpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like that. We like positive Gia.
Totally. And then the final one I wrote is Weevil and Veronica, because there's just this nice tender soft spot between their like Veronica always having to step up and help him out, and that Weevil will never admit it, but will like go to the ends of the earth of like helping her out, and it's like in a very platonic way and like respect driven sort of way. That it's just, there's never any implication that he would ever be interested in her or vice versa, which is really good. So yeah, I like Weevil and Veronica.
I love that. I was trying to figure out. The internet told me that I could still poke you on Facebook, but I cannot figure out how.
Right.
Um,
Well, maybe on the desktop version.
so
But yeah.
you would have won that war.
Anything else in this extra long episode?
Um, you know, I really feel like we've ran a marathon to
Yes,
get here.
for sure.
I feel like season 2, they were like, you know what? It'd be like if you were like, you know how like you throw spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks and like if it's done, but like they put one of each pasta in. Like they didn't make spaghetti. They put some ravioli in there too.
They had multiple pots going.
There's a fucking bow tie. No, all in the same pot.
Oh, I see.
Like it's just like a pasta chaos, which is like not necessarily bad, but they all have different cook times. So you're just kind of like, what the fuck is happening? That's what I felt like. I felt like I was making one pot of 17 pastas.
Got it. Yeah.
That's how I would describe this season.
I would agree. It's a lot.
One pot of 17 pastas.
You could take that home with you. Yeah, it's a lot, and too many things at once for it to feel like rewarding.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it all behind as we head off to college.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I learned when I went to college. All your trauma stays right there at home.
Exactly.
And does not come with you.
It's in a nice, neat little box, and you just pack it away.
And you keep it in the attic.
Exactly.
Is that where you put your trauma?
Sure. I don't have an attic, but
You still got it locked in a box somewhere?
yep. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Just screams every now and then.
Can't wait for that to pop out. No, make sure you work with a professional and address the issues that you may have acquired from how you were raised, especially if you grew up in Neptune.
Yeah. Seriously, if you were a class of 06, then poof.
Yeah, God, what a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a fun one. It was a lot. I'm excited for the next season.
Yeah, me too.
I do remember there being a lot of on and off on Logan and Veronica, which annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember at one point being like, there isn't a single episode where their relationship stays the same. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot.
But we'll see.
Yeah. And then we get to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the movie. I liked the movie.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, like, was it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Christopher Robin is out there. But it was definitely, I feel like it gave me what I wanted.
Interesting. I will see. I'm interested to see what my opinion is.
I feel like you liked the movie the first time we watched it.
I would not say that.
Oh.
I think it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this, my rankings would have been 1, 4, 3, 2 movie probably.
You liked 4?
Just not the ending.
Yeah. Okay. If you take the last episode off 4, my rankings change completely.
Yeah.
But if you leave that last episode on,
yep,
it's a whole different ranking. I don't know. I feel like 1, 3, maybe like 1, 4, 3 movie 2. 2 is really a drag.
Yeah. We
set the scene, but got at what cost?
Yeah, I think I like 2 a little better than you, but it's still rough.
It's rough.
Yeah, but we shall see what we think of season 3 going back in.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
You ready to go back to college?
I am.
I'm not.
No,
I feel
not
stressed.
in real life. Yeah, just in the TV version.
I did it once. It was enough.
Totally.
I already got my ambiguous major in English. I'm good. I'm already done.
I'm absolutely done.
But yeah, should we plug?
Yep.
Well, you can find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. I am a life and career coach. I help people figure out what the fuck they want to do with their lives, or like how to handle shit when it happens. For example, like a rough conversation with your boss, how to have a better one, or how to tell your boss you want to leave, or how to tell your boss to pay you more. That's an important one. You should have that one.
Very important.
You should have that conversation way more often than you think. And how to handle it when they don't take that conversation well, or how to make sure it does go well so you don't even have to worry about that. All of my coaching information is available at butreallythough.com, though it's spelled THO. I have some free blog content over there as well if you want to get a taste for my coaching style, but you're not ready to jump all in. I also have a low-cost monthly Patreon. It is But Really Though as well. And over there we do one career coaching lesson a month. You can join. You can be part of the little community. Have a little career coaching party over there where we are currently practicing separating who we are from what we do for a living, because you are more than what you do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You are more than the ways you make money. So yeah, lots of party fun time over there. You can also find me at But Really Though on YouTube and on Instagram at But Really Though, but spelled BTRLYTHO.
Yep. You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. Send us an email at marsrewatch@gmail.com. And then you can also find me on Twitter at PyleBrenton. Excuse me. That is PYLEBRENTON.
Ooh. We also have another podcast called But Really Though.
Thank you.
It's spelled just like my website. It is a variety podcast. We share stuff we didn't learn in history. We share conspiracy theories. We share tall tales, urban legends, myths, paranormal. Last week I talked about the Winchester Mystery House. There's nothing off the table at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If you want us to talk about something over there, send us a message and we'll do it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Find us. Send it to us. Maybe not Facebook. Poke us on Facebook.
Exactly. I don't know what page is over there, but you can check it.
You can poke us on Facebook. And on that note, stay toasted, marshmallows.